All right, while you guys are finishing up that do now, I'm going to give you some background information on what or our agenda for today is. We're going to go over, well, you guys will do student application, and then we're going to do the intro to this next workshop. I mentioned last week that we will be starting a new workshop, and then we're going to start today with lesson one. So you guys will do student application. We'll do the intro to the workshop, and then we'll read our class book together, whatever time we have left. All right. So based off the picture, real quick, I want you guys to look at it. And what do you notice? Just like, what are some physical things that you notice about the picture? Here, let me reshare, just in case you don't have it pulled up. What do you notice, Ivana? Did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I noticed that the floor is like really dry. The ground is like really dry.
Okay. So the ground is really dry. What else do you guys notice? That's a good observation. What do you guys see? Like literally, what do you see in the picture? We
The
see
car is sinking.
a car sinking. Okay. What about the background? What do you see? It's sunny. The weather it looks like it's sunny out. Good, Ivana. You see trees. There's a contrast. Okay. The contrast that I see is the very dry, cracked ground. But in the background, I see plush green trees. Do you guys notice that? In the back, it looks very green and lively. But this part that's right in front of us, it looks dry, cracked, needs water. Okay. So just some background on what we're going to talk about today before you guys do student application. We're going to focus on the southwestern side of the United States. So we're going to focus on the current drought conditions in California. Has anyone ever been to California? Okay, so you know that the climate is hot, right? And it can be dry at times. So we're going to focus on that. We're also going to look at other areas of the country and of the world that have experienced some water shortages. So that's a little background information. And I have a Google slide presentation that we're going to work on today. And I'll go over all of those details. But now you guys can get started with student application. Go ahead and get logged on with that. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready to start, please. Like I said today, we're going to be looking at the workshop 2 intro and go from there. So before we start with the anchor video, if you guys start on our Canvas page and you scroll past that picture, I have just a little table of what we're going to do today. If you click Intro to Workshop 2, Water Fight Google Slides, it'll take you to what we're going to be using. So go ahead and click that, and it'll take you to the Google Slides we will be using. So go ahead and open those up. I'm going to share mine, of course, and then when it's time for you guys to fill things out, then you can switch back to yours. So go ahead and open it up so that you have it ready to go um, when we get to that part. All right, but I'm going to share mine. Give me a thumbs up if you're able to pull up those Google Slides. I want to make sure everyone has access to them.
Where are they again?
Are you on our Canvas page
Yes.
on today's lesson?
Okay, I'm
Yeah, so you're going to hit today's lesson. Remember, always go to that button because it'll take you to whatever page we're working on. So if you scroll down past that do now picture in our table that says Wednesday, you'll see workshop intro to workshop 2. Okay, what about the rest of you ladies? Were you able to pull it up? Okay, what about you, Latasha? Were you able to pull it up? We ready? All right, so just put those to the side. I'm going to share my screen, so we'll just be looking off of what I have pulled up, okay? I just wanted to make sure everyone had access to it. All right. So this is workshop 2, water fight, the literacy goal. Ivana, can you read the literacy goal for us?
Literacy goal: use active viewing and listening strategies to build background and content knowledge about key ideas from a video.
Okay, so I'm going to play an anchor video. We haven't watched one in a while since workshop 1, but I'm going to play it twice. So the first time, I just want you to watch it. And I have a question I want you to think about, and then we're going to watch it again. But you guys are going to fill out an outline. So we're going to use active viewing skills, active listening strategies, paying attention to what words are used frequently so that we can fill out our activity later on. Okay. Leslie, can you reach language goals?
Communicate using phrases, content
Right.
area.
Can you speak a little bit louder? Like maybe a little closer to your computer. You might have to turn yourself up.
Okay.
This word is precise.
Communicate using precise content area words and academic language to discuss and compare key ideas from a video.
Okay. So we're going to really focus and analyze that video today. That's what our literacy and language goals are going to help us focus on. All right. So this is the first page. If you were to look in your real book, does anybody have a hardback book? No? Okay. So if you will be coming back for hybrid, then you'll have a hard copy. So you won't have to use these. But this is the first, these are the first 2 pages of our workshop. It has an intro, the title, and the picture that you guys did for your do now. So good readers don't just read the text. They look at the intro, they look at the title, they use the pictures or the images to help them come up with the main idea and all of that good stuff. All right. So this is water fight. Droughts and water shortages threaten Earth's supply of fresh water. It's a global problem. Are there any solutions? So before I told you that we're going to focus on the water shortages in California, but this is not just happening in California. This is something that is a global problem. Okay. So over the next few weeks, we're going to look at and learn about the worldwide shortage of fresh water. Now, obviously, the world is filled and full of water, but can we drink salt water? Can we just roll up to the ocean, grab us a cup, and drink it? No. So we rely on fresh water. So we're going to look at how that shortage of fresh water is affecting, us. All right. So based on the title of this workshop and the introductory text that I just read, what's the global issue that we're going to be learning about? Who can restate what we just talked, what I just said, and what I just read? What's the global issue? Excuse me. If you need to reread that introduction that's right in front of you, what's the global issue? What's the problem? Okay, water is hard to get. There's a shortage of water. Okay. All right, let's look at our focus question. Renaya, can you read the focus question, please?
How do we prevent Earth's fresh water supply from drying up?
All right, so that is what we need to be thinking about as we go through the lesson. The first part of this workshop, the text that we are going to look at and focus on today, we're going to do that anchor video called Drought. If you look to the right of that, we're going to start with a folk tale called Rain and Fire. We're going to look at an informational text called Drought Report, a photo essay called Decade of Drought. That's part 1. Part 2, we're going to look at a website. Are you a water saver or a water hog? op-ed articles, running dry, and an infographic. Okay, so there's a plethora, there's a variety of different types of text that we're going to look at in this workshop. Okay, so I'm going to set a purpose for this anchor video as we are actively reading or actively viewing, actively listening, because that's one of our literacy goals, so that we can complete our activity on the next page. I want you to think about what are some causes and effects of the drought in California. Okay, so while you're watching, think about what are some of the causes, which is what are some of the reasons why this is happening. And I want you to think about what are the effects or what's a direct result of the drought. All right, thumbs up if you understand your task. Okay, active viewing task, active listening task. I'm gonna play this anchor video. Like I said, we're gonna watch it twice. So the first time, just really like pay attention, look for things that stick out, what interests you, what was a surprise. Okay. Get it together.
Drought. A drought has scorched the American Southwest. And in sunny California,
Just want to make sure everyone is paying attention. So if you're looking at anything other than the screen, then I need you to get on task. Okay? Thank you.
where more food is grown than anywhere else in the country, the need for water has become a crisis.
California is living through some of its driest years in a century.
These lush lawns and fountains may give the impression that California has water to spare. But much of the state has a dry climate.
A lot of people that live in the city that turn their faucet on and water their yard every other day don't even realize how bad this drought is because they don't see it.
California depends on a huge network of pipes, pumps, and aqueducts. This system distributes fresh water from reservoirs, lakes, and rivers to drier parts of the state. But in a severe drought, access to this water becomes limited, and the right to water becomes a fight.
We are, right now, fighting for our survival. Because if we don't get water next year, it's, our future's dried up. We're gone.
Pues impactada su situación del trabajo por la escasez del agua. ¿Está ahorita sin trabajo?
When people can't get enough water from above ground, they start pumping it from below. Over 30% of California's water comes from underground.
Right now, the demand for wells is extremely high. Everybody needs the water. It's just trying to get to them fast enough.
But if this natural resource is overused, it will dry out too.
I'll tell you what, if we don't get any rain and we don't get any snowfall in the Sierras, then all the wells that we have in this whole area, including our own, will not be sufficient water to farm.
We don't want to turn into the Dust Bowl here in California, as it happened in Oklahoma when those people came over here and left Oklahoma because there wasn't any way for them to farm.
It's not just farmers who need the water. Urban areas, industry, and those protecting the environment all have a stake in California's water supply.
We really think that the state needs to get prepared, not for just now for the crisis that is upon us, but for the next 40 or 50 years. And if we have, lower rainfall and precipitation, we need to be able to capture and utilize and transport this water in a better sense that the state can survive.
What our projections show is that in the future, we can expect droughts that will last 20, 30, 40 years.
Most scientists agree that changes in climate will continue to disrupt the water cycle. With longer periods of drought, water management and conservation are crucial for protecting this precious resource.
All right. So I had you guys think about what are some of the causes and the effects of the drought in California. We're going to look at that again as we fill out an outline, but just based off that first viewing, what are the reasons why California is going through a drought? Good job with your responses. They're not getting enough water. The heat, the climate is also a cause. All right, so very good job with that first initial question. We're going to view with the purpose now. So go ahead. Well, I'll share mine right now. But we're going to look at the Google slides, Google slides. And I'm going to play the video again. This time you guys are going to fill out an outline that goes with it. Okay. So let me pull mine up. Hopefully. All right, so I'm gonna pull mine up. We've already went through this. Now we're gonna view with a purpose, okay? So we're gonna be starting on page 78. All right, drought. Around the world, severe droughts are depleting freshwater supplies. In California, it's a crisis. Find out about the causes and effects of drought. Learn what we can do to protect and preserve our water. All right, so we're going to watch this anchor video again and listen closely and complete the outline of the following content area vocabulary. So now we're going to tap into our language goal. We're going to start using academic vocabulary to fill this out. So I'm going to go through these words. You'll repeat after me, and then I'll read the definition. All right. So if everyone can just pay attention to what we're about to do now, I'll have you guys work on your work on your outline in just a second, okay? So remember, you're gonna repeat after me and I'll tell you what the definition is. First word is climate.
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 Leslie, say climate, please. The meaning of climate is the weather patterns in an area over several years. Okay, so what type of climate does Indiana have? What are the weather patterns that we experience in Indiana?
Summer, winter, fall, and spring.
Yeah, good. We go through the seasons. That is our weather pattern. The next word is environment. Environment. It is a noun. It is the physical surroundings that plants, animals, and humans live in. So your environment, where do you live? What are some things that are in your environment? Do you live in on a busy street where there are stores in your environment? Do you live in a more secluded area where there are trees in your environment? So think of physical things. All right, Leslie, can you hear me? No? Yes, maybe. You can hear me? Okay, so next time when we do a word, you need to repeat it, okay? All right, our next word is natural resource. Remember, you're gonna repeat after me.
Natural resource.
Natural resource. This is also a noun and it's something found in nature that humans need and use. What would be an example of a natural resource that we need and use?
Wood.
Good. Wood. Next word is reservoir. Reservoir. It is a natural or human-made lake where water is stored. And then our last word is water cycle.
Water cycle.
It is the continuous movement of water between earth and sky. So we're going to use these words here. Looks like the first one is already done. So it says a prolonged drought caused a water crisis in the U.S. Southwest. Much of California has a very dry climate. All right, climate best fits this or makes sense in this context because it's referring to the weather pattern in a certain area, which is climate. That's the meaning of climate. And in this case, we're talking about California. Okay. So I'm going to replay the anchor video and then you guys are going to finish this outline. We've already used the word climate, so we won't have to use that one. We'll just have to use these 4 words here. Okay, I'll try to pause it so that you guys have time to type. Thumbs up if you understand the task that we're about to do. Perfect. I always do that. I need something. So we've already finished letter A. Much of California has a very dry climate. Renaya, can you do B?
Okay, hold on. In California, fresh water from the reservoir is pumped to drier parts of the state.
Okay, thumbs up if you guys have reservoir for B. All right. Number 2, much of Earth's fresh water comes from under the ground. People are digging wells to access this fresh water. Ivana, can you do A, please?
If this natural resource is overused, it will dry out too.
Okay, thumbs up if you have a natural resource. Good. 3, most scientists agree that changes in the climate are contributing to periods of severe drought. Leslie, do A.
I put water cycle.
Read it with a complete sentence, please.
Climate changes leading to less
Precipitation.
precipitation disrupt the water cycle.
Okay. And then Latasha, do the last one.
Everyone has a stake in California water crisis, including farmers, urban planners, industry, and those protecting the environment.
Good. All right. Good job, ladies. All right. We're going to do 2 more activities on this Google Slides, and then we'll do some read aloud from our class book, using our class book. All right. So just really think about what you just watched. I'm going to have you guys write facts from the video. So what's something that you learned, and then what's something that caught your attention. I'll give you 3 minutes to fill this out, then I'll have 1 or 2 of you share either what you learned or what caught your attention. So make sure you are answering both questions. And then we'll do the reflection at the bottom together. All right, so I'll give you guys 3 minutes. You think that's enough time? Okay. Okay, so after viewing and discussing the video, what are you guys interested in learning more about? Another example will be where is the drought more prevalent, or where is it the driest? That's if you're interested in learning about that. That's one way to use where. Anybody ready to share? All right, go ahead and share and we'll move on.
I put why not if
Can you use a sentence starter that they give us, please? After viewing and discussing.
oh my bad. After viewing and discussing the video, I am especially interested in learning about why don't people use the water for more important things, like because they, like we saw in the video, they use it for like fountains and like to make the city pretty.
Perfect. I love how you use an example from the video using some background knowledge. Good. All right, so You guys can go ahead and exit out of that. We will be coming back to it eventually. So just make sure that those activities are filled out, the ones that we went over today. So when it's time to turn them in, you will be ready to go. All right. We're gonna spend the last few minutes reading our class book, Money. Let me pull it up before I make something up. Money Talks or something like that. I think that's what it's called. But if you were not here last week, we did choose a book for our read aloud. So some days you guys will be doing some independent reading, and then some days we're going to read together. So we're just going to finish off class with the read aloud today. So Renaya, you're going to have to add this to your reading list because you were not here when we did that. So if you go to bookshelf, or when you get logged in and everything, if you go to bookshelf and type in the title, Money Hungry, that's what it's called, Money Hungry. You'll be able to read it. All right. So, did we read the first chapter?
Yes.
Okay. So, we're going to start with chapter 2. I need to write down which each class I've read it with. So, we're going to start with chapter 2. I'll read the first page and then I'll have you guys popcorn read the rest. I'll probably need to zoom in. Let me zoom in, you guys. Now, if you guys remember, the main character is Raspberry. We were introduced to Raspberry in chapter 1. The setting looks like a busy city, and we're going to find out a little bit more about Raspberry. All right, are you guys ready? Do I need to zoom in a little bit, or is it okay? A little bit? Okay.
I had a Via Elia.
Oh, no. All right, this is chapter 2. Mama's putting on her coat, saying she's going to heat up the car so we don't freeze our butts off on the way to school. I put the last of the bacon in my mouth and go check myself out in the mirror to make sure there ain't no gunk stuck between my teeth. Then I'm out the door, coat and all. Soon as I step into the hallway of our building, I hold my nose with my fingers. I can tell that Shu and his brother Check been peeing up the place again. In the summer, they say they do it to kill off the ants. Wintertime, they claim they killing roaches and spiders. I think they just trying to see who can pee the furthest. I don't know why. They even bother. Before the weekend comes, Mama gonna have them down there scrubbing up. Then their grandma's gonna go upside their heads for being so nasty in the first place. It happens like this all the time. All right, let's have some read. Make sure you guys are following along. Who wants to read first? Or do I have to pick? Ivana, is your hand up? Renaya, you want to read?
Yeah, I'll read.
Thank you. We're starting
I'm
here.
trying. Okay, I'm trying hard not to breathe in this funky stuff, but it's hard holding your breath and locking up fast when you got 3 locks to work with. By the time I get to the street, Mama's giving Shu an earful, yelling out the car window at him for doing something he shouldn't. That boy got a lot of nerve for an 11-year-old. He's standing on the curb next to the car, loud talking Mama, saying he didn't pee in the hallway. But everybody around here knows peeing in the hallway is Shu and Check's trademark. Kind of like Zorro with his Z or Spider-Man with his web. I'm on the sidewalk sitting in a busted up chair watching Mama and Shu go at each other. Mama tells Shu he better not make her get out her car and go next to him. He got his eyes fixed on her good. Then he does what he should have done in the first place. He backs down and mumbles some lame apology. Then that's when Mama gives her car a little gas and pulls out her parking space. I
Thank
get
you.
up out of the chair.
You want to keep reading?
Stop.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
I get up out of the chair and sit it in Mama's empty parking space, so nobody takes it while she's gone. Mama don't see, but Shu kicks over the chair as soon as our car pulls off. Usually, when Mama drives me to school, I'm talking her ears off, but since she works nights, we use our mornings to catch up on things. But today, I ignored her. I turned the radio on and started jamming to the beat. I act like Mama ain't even here. By the time we get to the bottom of the hill, Mama says we need to talk. Good, I'm thinking. She's gonna tell me what's up with her and Zora's dad. But no, Mama turns down the radio and starts talking about hormones and how 13-year-old girls like me get moody because we're turning into women. I want to let her know that my hormones is fine, that it's her that's making me act this way. But before I can say anything, she's rolling down the window, minding somebody else's business. All right, Latasha, can you read for a little bit? This is Malik.
Malik Johnson's mama shouts, "If you don't get off that girl, I'll tell your mother soon as I get home." Malik stopped kissing Sissy. Then he tells his boys to shut up when they start laughing at him. Me, I slump down in the seat of the car, way down, hoping no one sees me. Dad, Mama, I say, why you have to go and do that? Our car is stopped at the light at Jackson and Rope. Kids waiting to cross the street stare right in my face like it was me busting up Malik good time. Malik face is all red now. Only he ain't the only one embarrassed. I am too. Bad enough we ride around in the oldest car on the planet. Why do Mama have to make it worse by always drawing attention to us? Always minding other folks' business. When Mama finished with Malik, she rolls up the car window and steps on the gas. I turn the radio up and close my eyes. I'm going to make me some big time cash today. So I concentrate on that, not Mama. After 6 blocks of me not sitting nothing.
I'll finish reading. Thank you, Latasha. All right. So after 6 blocks of me not saying nothing, Mama asks me what's wrong. I don't want to say nothing, but the words come out before I can stop them. I look dead in her eyes and ask, "What's up with you and Zora's dad?" Mama's body jerks back a little, like you do when somebody steps out from behind a door you ain't expecting it. Then she tries to act like she's cool. "Don't look at me like that," she says, making sure her eyes don't meet mine. For a while, she don't even look where she's driving. She's messing around with her rearview mirror, dusting crumbs off the seat, stuff like that. After a while, Mama tries to answer my question about her and Zora's dad. Dr. Mitchell and I can do as we please. We grown. We are grown, she says, correcting her English. It makes me so mad her doing that all day. But since she started college last year, she's been trying to improve the way she speaks. I tell Mama just to leave me be. I like how I talk just fine. I'm gonna pause it there. Do you guys see that, or do you notice that the way that they're speaking, their vernacular is pretty laid back? It's pretty casual, right? There's some slang, they use jargon, all of that. But in this area here, you see that the mom tries to correct herself, okay? So understand that the way that this book is written is slang, all right? So in class, we will not speak like this, right? It's jargon. But when, we're in a casual setting, it's different. All right. So just understand that there's a difference in language and context. So the things that you may read about in this book, you necessarily wouldn't say them in class. Okay. All right. Dr. Mitchell and me are friends, Raspberry. That's all, she says, putting on the brakes soon as we get to school. I get the hint. Mama don't want to talk. I know something's up with them too. I put my hand out for lunch money and jump out Mama's side of the car as soon as she gives me the cash. I try not to do what I always do when dollars grease my palm. Smell the money like it's chocolate chip cookies straight out of the oven. Before I walk away, I turn around and say something I know is going to hurt Mama bad. He a doctor, Mama. What do you think somebody like him wants with somebody like you, who lives in the projects with game bangers and junkies? All right, so that is chapter 2. What do you guys think so far? So far, so good. What do you think? So this one ends with her being dropped off at school. All right. So just think of something like, what do you think is going to happen next? Are we going to be introduced to probably her friends? We're going to read the rest on Friday, or read the next chapter. Okay. So we did a lot today. We did an intro to the workshop. We did some we did some reading. You guys did student applications. So thank you for being on task. Thank you for showing up to class. We're missing a few people, but just remember that you guys are responsible for doing the work. So if you do miss a live session, starting this week, I'll do student application for a grade. Okay.